Hello and welcome to the Jumpcast. Um, how do I introduce this? I'm Nick. I'm one of your hosts for today. We got my other host Max. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hello, I always wave at my webcam, but I'm Max. I'm one of the Maxes. Sadly,
Yes, we
our,
keep on missing the other
we
Max due
still have a
to
fallen soldier.
yes, he's missing in action horribly. He's actually kidnapped in the middle of the in Chicago. The cartel told me that it cost like I don't know like 20,000 to get him out, so
They said
not
we
really
have to
worth it right
break
now.
a gazillion views for him to get released today.
Yeah, so but in all seriousness, I hope that he will join us soon. Although again, we're going to be on a break week next week. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna jump straight into the chapter and then I'll go over um Max's thoughts, Max 2's thoughts because he sent us a little text about it. Um, but all right, let's just jump into it. So, we're covering chapter 265 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Finally, a different name. The name of the chapter is That Day. And if we remember from last chapter, Yuji did a domain expansion. They woke up in the middle of a train station. And Yuji's like, "Come on, Sukuna." So, what it is that their curse energy clashed and like sorcerer BS is what I'm gonna put it. Like Sukuna explains that when sorcerers duel, like this thing sometimes happens where like their curse energy mixes souls and stuff, human emotion. So uh what is it? If we think back to when Kashimo died, it was sort of a similar thing. Or when Jogo died. So Sukuna is like three for three in these little things. Um, Anyways, uh, Sukuna's like, "Is this your domain?" It's just like, dude, I have no clue. Yuji says, "I have no clue. I wanted to talk to you about something, so hear me out." And he basically takes him on this little trip. I don't know what city this is. Um,
Is it?
I think because he says Sendai, but I thought I didn't understand whether it was like he moved to Sendai and then came back here or not. I know that he
It's
had to go for
oh,
it.
So I saw that it's um different places in Japan, but I believe
Mm,
they're heading towards or they came from Sendai, if I understood it
I
correctly.
see.
But
But I'm gonna cut this down because there's just a lot of dialogue going on. But it's basically Yuji and Sukuna just like traveling around, enjoying their time, like in a regular day-to-day life. Like they go fishing, they do archery, they like visit, they look at flowers and stuff. They look at horses. Um, and it's to to cut the story short, it's basically Yuji just trying to show Sukuna the joys of like having a little mundane life, just like chilling out, finding meaning in the meaningless. Um, and so then Sukuna at one point is just like, you know what? Stop it. Get to the point. What are you trying to tell me? And then Yuji goes on this little monologue, as we also see all the people that were really significant to him that died, confirming Nobara and Gojo are dead, thank God, because I'm sick of people saying, I'm waiting for Nobara to come back. Um, but I'm sorry, I may need to reread this real quick. But he said that originally his thought was that his role was to just like save as many people, kind of be that cog in Jujutsu society, so that he could be surrounded by people and have a good death, and like fulfilling that role would also be a good death. Um, but he's learning that. Let me reread this real quick. There are fragments of memories everywhere instead of just like your own memory from saving people. That's my best way to connect it. Um, and also just saying that he hates Sukuna because he doesn't care about any of that stuff at all. Sukuna just eats and kills. Um, and so then he's just trying to show Sukuna like, hey, you should enjoy these little mundane things. And Sukuna's like, I hear you. Don't feel shit. Don't feel shit at all. Um, so then Yuji's just like, I expected this. You wouldn't listen to me. And then Um, Sukuna realizes that Yuji's kind of pitying him, and we see a little image of Buddha, or like a statue of Buddha, saying like, "Are you trying to be merciful towards me?" And Yuji says, um, "I can kill you. Free Megami, and I'll spare your life." And Sukuna's like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna kill everyone you love dear, and then kill you."
Dude, he's like that dog smacking the butt. Oh, hell no.
Hell no!
No.
Hell no! Um, uh, but yeah, that was the chapter. It's a very interesting chapter. It's definitely one that I can't really summarize very well because you need to just kind of read it for yourself. I think that that's what makes it entertaining, especially because the art is really good. Um, you see also like Baby Yuji in it,
Oh,
um,
he's so cute in
which
the
that's
dude.
all that
The
matters
one of him
when
like
he's
blowing
drinking
on his
milk
milk,
tea.
dude, so cute.
But
Dude,
yeah, what did you think of this chapter?
um, I really enjoyed it. And someone I saw pointed out, I forget who and what platform, but throughout the chapter, someone noticed that these are real life locations and they're heading north. And if you remember, there's the whole point of you head north to be reborn and you head south to be the same. So someone was thinking, oh, maybe Yuji's taking Sukuna south or north, um, so he or Sukuna can be reborn. I saw one like adding on to it. Someone's like, well, maybe Sukuna and Yuji are going to be reborn into like quote unquote one.
Hmm.
But I don't. I just really enjoyed it. I thought like, you kind of at first I was like, okay, we get a break next week. I want it to be jam packed, action packed, Yuji's domain, him going ham chapter, but like it felt like a very gentle and like nice lead into a break week, and then the ending of the chapter I felt was like perfect for like making my mouth salivate, making me want more JJK, and making that next break week, like the next chapter after this break week, is going to be even like better to read with that book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that next chapter. Um, I think it may go back to actual combat. I think that's
yeah.
what it is. I really liked it just because I don't know. I Slice of life is sometimes fun to read, and this one was just entertaining seeing them like argue and everything, and just like play games. And the fact that like Sukuna could stand there for a second and just like listen to Yuji instead of just being like, "Ah, fuck this shit, I'm out of here.
Bro,
I'm going home."
dude, he's like, someone compared it like they're acting like siblings throughout this chapter. Like their little encounter
Yeah.
with like the crayfish, and he's like, "Those are hydrangeas, dumbass."
I
Like,
found I found a cooler crawfish than you. I don't care
uh,
if it's much smaller.
no, like,
Um,
but
but yeah.
yeah.
Um, Also one thing that I forgot to go over is Dries' thoughts.
Oh yes.
Um, I'm quoting him, "Shit is wild." I wish we had this emotional connection uh, I wish we had this emotional connection that supposedly happens in Mortal Kombat in basically every fight. That would have solved a lot of plot holes and lack of motivation. Gege, you goofy bitch. But it's still really cool. Getting inside characters' heads always is interesting to me. That's why I was drawn to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when I first watched it. That's also something that we can cover eventually.
Ooh, that'd be a fun
Um,
one.
but yeah, and then I asked him for like some clarification on what he meant for plot holes, just because I I do not remember some of these goofy goblin brain. What is it? Nakey Jakey says goofy goblin gamer brain. I care about what's happening right now. I don't care about plot holes. He said maybe I missed it, but I wanted more explanation on why Mei Mei is so motivated by money. That's kind of covered in the anime though. Um, uh, or like going over more of like the cursed families, like the big three families would have been
Seeing
good
more
if
than
we
just
had
like
that
the
sort of thing.
Zenin. Yeah, I agree with Max on that
Yeah.
because we get like hints.
Um, yeah, because that's one of the things that also is always just kind of missing from like the big families. Does it matter? No, no. but it would have been good to get some insight on that, or hopefully we could even get a sequel series to go over that. I would love to see that.
It'd be cool to see like a sequel series on like the founding of the three families or
Yeah,
something.
I guess like prequel
Yeah,
series, you know.
prequel
Well,
sequel.
I said it before, but I want one that covers Yuki.
Yuki would be really cool. Like
Yeah,
about her upbringing in Jujutsu society, because like it'd be cool to
yeah,
see what molded her into who she is. Because I think
yeah.
that's a
I
big.
would love to. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say it seems like a big part of like at least Gojo, like the hidden inventory and the premature death arc is like what how events mold people. I think
Yeah,
it'd be
like how
real.
he's motivated at the end of the
Yeah.
day. I want to see the same with Yuki, especially because like I am sure she is not the first that thought, "Hey, how can we solve this problem?" When it comes to like cursed spirits and everything. So I'm wondering if like even she had a mentor that's just like I wanted to do this or that, and then carrying on wishes, or maybe she's just that guy and it's just like I'm gonna solve everything.
Hmm. So
So yeah,
yeah, no, it's great to see because I think hopefully with where Jujutsu Kaisen is not like the ending of the series opens way for like Boruto level sequel, but opens. I hope Jujutsu Kaisen's open for some sort of even a one shot like little thing.
yeah,
I think it'd be really interesting to see because it like I'm not saying like MCU level, but it could there's plenty of directions where Gege could go. I mean, he could go write that basketball series after.
yeah. I know that he wants to make like what 6 mangas.
Is that what he?
He's like
Yeah.
super dedicated, or 4, I think.
Hmm.
Could be wrong.
So, and hey, maybe that means he wants to do four completely different ones, four that could have some in the same universe. So, it's very interesting to see
Yeah,
where he is, career wise, like what his motivation is. So,
yeah.
but
Um, Again, I just want to reiterate with this chapter. I'm so happy that Sukuna actually listened to Yuji for a second. Um, in like, it's just nice not having them like actually argue
hmm.
or just fight in general, because that's always just kind of been the case.
Well, like when they like genuinely the few panels they talk when they're doing archery, I really enjoyed that. Like just Sukuna, I don't the best way to describe being normal. Like
Yeah,
he's like yeah, like he's like yeah, he's like I didn't expect you to be better at me than this. He's like well, looking back on it, you do have more experience because I think someone mentioned
yeah.
that archery is like very was very common
Common
in
back in
like
those
yeah.
days. Yeah.
So
Um, and I like that Yuji was like, again, he is actually trying to show mercy. Like, just like the quote from page 15, I wanted to show you the livelihood of the people you see as having no value.
it's a
Like,
it's
it's just like,
it's luck yeah.
I want you to experience what these other people have. And like Sukuna being able to retort and say, yeah, I don't feel anything. I thank you for telling me, but you're not gonna win me over with this argument.
Did he hit him with that yeah and like okay,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
it's good to see like Yuji like so much character growth because like last time I feel like we had a moment like this was back in Shibuya and it was against Mahito where he's like I'm going to kill you, but like
Yeah.
Yuji's actually giving him a moment to be like hey like let's figure this out without violence. Um,
Yeah, like he probably would have done the same thing to Mahito.
um,
If he could back then, if he knew how to do it, he probably would have been like, "Listen, buddy, this is what you're losing." And honestly, Mahito probably would have said, "I don't care. And these people need to die."
yeah, but it's nice
I
to see
think that
that.
that would actually fuel him
Yeah,
more.
exactly. But I was gonna say it's nice to see that Yuji's like motivation and like philosophy behind like life itself is also changing. Like the cog in the machine was kind of interesting, but I feel like narratively it didn't make sense for him to have that mindset for too long. So
Yeah,
and narratively this like you just do what you want with your life. Like your life is yours. Do what you want with it. But
except kill
don't act
people.
like other people's lives aren't meaningless. Like that's like his whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Now that I say that with the Mahito thing, Mahito probably would have been like, yeah, this is the whole reason why I am killing so that I can get to this standard.
Mm-hmm. So,
Um, but yeah. Um, I don't know what else to cover.
uh,
There's nothing really else in my mind.
I wrote, I had a few notes about Yuji. Like, it's kind of interesting that like they don't technically know if this is Yuji's domain or his or it's like this like cursed energy clash they're doing. Because I think it could be fun if this is his domain, but I think it'd be really interesting if we immediately cut to like Yuji actually using a domain, and
Oh yeah,
we see
no, this
the
definitely
like
has to go back to the domain,
well, then
like
we
it
like
in my eyes.
the insight of it. We see that philosophy that Yuji just talked about, like I guess materialized is the way I'd like phrase it. Like we see what he means by live your life. Like there's got to be something. So I don't know if I'm looking too deep. Some deeper meaning in this chapter that's like maybe giving us a hint of what's to come after the break week.
So I interpreted it very differently, especially with like the connection to Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've always had these connections, like going back to like Gojo with the whole like honored one moment, like being akin to Buddha, like saying the same shit. So I think it's a lot in the same light of just like he is the strongest. I think that
Mm-hmm.
he's realizing that like Sukuna realized that like oh shit, I'm the one that's losing this.
Well, did you see the
That's if he made
parallels
that connection.
that a while ago there was a moment I don't remember who it was, but Sukuna smiling and Yuji like frowning, and now we kind of I mean we don't see Yuji smiling, but we see him like this stoic, like ready to fight, and Sukuna's like I know he looks like he's smiling, but he's caught off guard. Like he doesn't know how to react right now, and
Oh
he's like
yeah, well at
yeah.
the beginning he definitely looks caught off guard and then he smiles because he remembers that hey, I'm gonna tear this boy apart.
I'm going to
Um
show your beheaded corpse to everyone you care about. Like, yeah.
yeah,
But
but the
oh, you keep
I
going.
think the domain has to be different. It has
Mm-hmm.
to because like uh I don't know, it needs to follow the tropes with like Malevolent Shrine. If they can do the same curse technique, they have to have the same domain.
Like
That's just
a.
personally how I see it.
I think it'd be really cool if like we and like somehow Sukuna does bring out his domain again already. Like we see this malevolent shrine clash, and it's both of their slashes like hitting each other's slashes and creating
Mhm.
something. Or Yuji saw it happen. We see him hit the world cutting slash or something. Like who
Mhm.
knows? So.
I that just gave me another idea on what could happen where what is it? Because of them talking, it gave Sukuna enough time to get his curse technique back because he didn't
Oh,
before.
like time
So
is still
then you're
flowing.
probably right where it will be a domain clash and it's just gonna be uh what is it? It will be what everyone wanted. It will be some fisticuffs.
Mm. But
Um
there was another thing, that like I know there's scenes of Yuji as a baby with his dad and mom. I guess his dad and Kenjaku, but it's kind of interesting to see that like technically Yuji from this chapter it seems like he's always been with his grandpa. Um,
oh yeah, I
and
think
I'd
that's
love to
definitely the
see
case.
the background of maybe like what happened to Kaori before Kenjaku, or how Kenjaku found Kaori, or what happened to his dad. Because his grandpa was like, "I'll tell you what happened to your parents." He's like, "I don't care." I know
Yeah.
Yuji as a character doesn't care, but we as an audience, I'm very
Oh yeah, we're
curious.
definitely very invested. I think that if we go back a little bit, let me find the chapter. 145? I'm trying to remember. Okay, a little bit close, but not there. What is it? 142? No. God damn it. I'm so close.
But I guess I'll
There
keep
you go.
talking. But Yuji's grandpa like giving Yuji, even though like he's older, he can't do as much maybe with his grandson, and he can't be a parent per se. He's still doing what he can to give his grandson this like sense of normalcy in life. It's really interesting to see. Like I don't know if like some of the things they're doing here, like I don't know if like crayfish, people in the US will know them as crawdads. I don't know if like crawdads like fishing kind of like this is very common in Japan, but I know in the South it's very common, and it's like a whole like, kind of family event to do, and, like to eat them. And but I don't know if there's like some maybe because we don't know Japanese culture, like as well. So maybe some of
Uh,
these events we're seeing are like very common in Japan because like the thing about horses catches me like really off guard because at least I'm gonna be snarky here. At least when I was in Japan, I didn't hear a whole lot about in modern Japan people keeping horses. Like I know is very common in like the samurai, like that Edo period and stuff, but I don't know modern wise.
yeah.
Where you go to
I
find or ride horses?
Yeah, well, I guess it's also just because they're not in like the big cities as well. Maybe
Mm.
there's a lot more of like agricultural environment where they were able to like see people that like tended to horses and stuff. Because I know that like this is dumb for my connection for it, but if for those that watch Trash Taste, they did like a whole like trip around Japan and they went like horseback riding um in some section of Japan. I forgot where, but yeah.
Yeah. Like that and
Um,
like I because I know I mean it's not the traditional Japanese style of archery they're doing, but I know archery is still huge in Japan. I know in like
mhm.
the high schools and middle school, there's still clubs for it. Like I saw kids, I shouldn't say kids, they're teenagers. In like
They're so
not a
kids.
kimono or yukata, but like the traditional like where it's like the I guess kimono like half kimono.
Traditional.
Yeah, like archery gear they would wear. Like there's kids
Hmm.
like when they are teenagers slash kids when they still go do these archery competitions, they're still wearing traditional garbs. Like that is a modern bow they're shooting, but it's kind of still to see that cool to see that there's these traditions carrying over.
Yeah. I just went back. It's chapter 143. Uh, of course, we don't know all the context, but Kaori died and Kenjaku took over the body, and then it's just like, haha, let's have a kid. And Jin's like, you know what? I always wanted a kid, so this will make up for it. And then it's like, no, don't, no.
Yeah.
So. That's why the grandfather's yelling at him, just like, I understand that you wanted a child with Kaori, but her death was, and then he gets interrupted by Kaori.
Yeah. There we
So
go.
yeah,
But so we kind of maybe
it
more
would
on
have been
the.
nice to get the context for that as well. But the we know so far is just the fact like Jin is Sukuna's brother, soul wise.
Mhm. So
So
maybe that's something we could get a short one shot about eventually. Maybe kind of about Jin, like as a person, or something. I don't
yeah,
know,
that would have been fun.
but something like that would be kind of interesting to see, like what people. I like I said, I just want to see what Gege does after Jujutsu Kaisen because I hope he takes some time off. He really deserves it. I
Oh,
mean,
I'm sure that he will. Are
but
you kidding me? Anyone will.
after writing like one of the most successful more modern Shonen Jump, and I guess more like successful manga series of all time. It's interesting to see like where you go here because I don't want to say like oh he's gonna peak and he's gonna make terrible stuff after this, but I want to see like where his creative mind goes from here because he's like I don't know if he wants to go something off like not keep writing the hype of Jujutsu Kaisen, but keep going with this universe he's created, or he's like I want to do something completely different or I want to do something
Yeah.
similar. Like, what does he do in this? Because he's got, I
I
think he's
hope that
got,
he does something different.
yeah. Maybe we see like a year where he takes time off and maybe writes a one shot about something else and then comes back to Jujutsu Kaisen later on or something. So
Yeah, it does something different. Um, but yeah, what is it? Predictions for next chapter. Domain expansion clash, and it's gonna be Yuji versus Sukuna. Just hand,
dude, we
what
get
is
a
it? Four arms versus two
yeah. I was
arms.
about
We'll
to
see
say
how it
we get a
goes.
recap, we get a rerun of that, but yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah,
so no, it'd be
what do you think will happen?
very similar. Um,
Hmm.
my girlfriend saw an animation of like I don't know if you saw it of Yuji still mating its my tone. It's just a boxing ring with no cursed energy. She's still holding out hope that that's his domain. So something like that. But I like the idea of something with Malevolent Shrine. Um,
Mhm.
or maybe what we see is this domain we maybe don't get the full domain clash. We get a little bit of it, and then
Mhm.
afterwards Yuji and Sukuna don't have cursed techniques and they can't really use their cursed energy. You're like, okay. Yuji's like, well, I'm going like without the soul cutting stuff. I am
Mhm.
going to beat Megami out of you. Like he's like, I'm going to destroy you. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna spitball here. Maybe we see Sukuna get punched so hard he throws up fingers again, and this is how Yuji's beating Sukuna. Is he's punching Sukuna hard enough he throws up fingers, and Yuji's grabbing the fingers and eating them before Sukuna can consume them.
Yeah, I'm sure that we'll get something like that.
So I don't know. Maybe that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, we'll see how it goes in another week from now. I hope
mm-hmm.
that people cope with this break week. Um, what is it? I'll use this as to like wrap it up. Um, one other thing to go over, uh, for those that also enjoy My Hero, um, rest in peace to a real king. My Hero's done. It's over.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
we'll do something eventually as like a little episode to commemorate it because it's been very impactful for me enjoying manga and anime. Um,
I think a
I don't
large
know how much it
community
is for you
too.
as well, but um, yeah. Anyways, what is it? Like, subscribe. I hope that you guys have a good week or 2 weeks basically because of the gap. Uh, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.